can still hear that anyway.
And now they hear you as well. Welcome, everybody, down to the Arts District. Go Live Vegas coverage from the First Friday event. Back in action for what, Raquel, I believe, is now the 4th time being down here as we are outside One of Us Comics. 4th time. It has to be. November was the 1st.
November
was the 1st. And that's... And as she figures that mental math out in her head, we welcome you all into the show. Brett Loss, Raquel Ellikis leading the way as we always do. And Raquel, it seems like every time we come down to the Arts District, we get more and more immersed into everything going on, whether it be heavy on the artists, be heavy on the performers. Tonight we have music from our own Steve Johnson here in the background. Everything is just always lively. Everything's always fun. But it seems like each time we come down here, Raquel, we also plant the seeds for the expansion of Go Live Vegas.
Every single time we expand. I mean, in more ways than one.
Yeah, there you go. You know, it's close enough to the holidays where we can still have that post-holiday weight on. But, I mean, even tonight before we were coming on the air, me and you were having lively discussions about music. By the way, Raquel doesn't know I'm such an old soul when it comes to...
I just found that out.
My favorite band? Did you already forget?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Aaron. She was astonished to find out that Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and many...
He put Pink Floyd at number 2.
Yes.
That's why I forgot.
Yeah, apparently that was
I stopped paying attention after
yeah, apparently that was met with a lot of negative reception from Raquel.
No.
I guess if you're an Aussie, Pink Floyd can't fall behind number 1. That's fair. I'm a big Floyd guy, but not in terms of music. Anytime we could go to movies, TV, anything, when you get a blast from the past, I always appreciate it. And anyone who's been following me throughout my media career, just knows me personally, knows that's always been the case. But again, always a lot of energy, always a lot of fun down here at Go Live Vegas. We have seeds planted coming up. We'll be back here before you know it in the near future. Yeah. More on that in a little bit. But Raquel, just to give people just a general idea of kind of where we are at now as a network, Go Live Vegas here in February of 2025 is really ready to take the next step.
We are taking the next step. We're building our team. So if you pay attention and you start to follow us, which please follow us, we're on all social media platforms.
Yep.
My show, Midlife Mischief, and Brett's show, you've got 2.
Yeah, Student of the Game and the Game Day Huddle. Myself, Steve Johnson, Jimmy Garino. Right. Will catch us next. We'll be recapping all the Super Bowl action and everything else from this past week and weekend. It's a jam-packed, shot-full sports slate, if you will, both in terms of talking points and games, and, of course, the big game this Sunday that we'll be recapping. We'll touch on that tonight as well. But, of course, Midlife Mischief.
Yes.
We have new personalities who may not be hosting shows yet, but could likely be hosting shows in the near future. Mary Murphy, our newest entertainment journalist on the Las Vegas scene. Yeah. She's been a fixture here on Go Live Vegas now for a while. She's going to be heavily involved in the process. It's just, we're finally getting to the point where now we can kind of tap into all different sorts of avenues that we previously just didn't have the manpower to do so.
We're building our team. We're building our following, and we're starting to do new things that we've never done before.
Right.
We are filming live on location all over the city for different things, and more of that's coming up. So we're not just going to be here at One of Us Comics, but we're also going to be in different places. So you're going to have to like and subscribe in order to find out what we're up to. Absolutely,
and that's the best way to stay in the loop. Download anything, whether it be our radio app, whether we're going to be back on Roku TV soon enough, and of course all of our video platforms across social media and YouTube. You'll be able to find us. We'll have you covered. All you got to do is like, subscribe, follow. All of our studio shows have the open phone lines, have the chat room. It's all
There's a little wind.
Little bit of a gust. Get those locks out of the way. But absolutely, and your show, Midlife Mischief, interestingly enough, really taps into the interactive element that Go Live Vegas has.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys out there watching right now have tuned in. You check her show out on a Sunday night. Let me tell you something. It is a lively comment section.
And believe it or not, even though it's mostly about aging, we all age. Everybody does. We're trying to uncover some of the secrets and maybe prep people like Brett, who will one day, if he's lucky, also age.
Do I have to? I have to? I remember.
Everybody, if they're lucky, that is one thing that we learned from COVID, is that only people who are lucky get to age. So don't worry about it.
It's a dice roll It's a dice roll anyway.
Exactly.
But most importantly, as far as your show isn't about preventing people from aging, because that's inevitable.
No,
That's
we
what's
don't
so
do
interesting. It's not one of those type of shows where you're trying to give some type of groundbreaking secret to prevent that. You're telling people, or at least trying to guide people, how to deal with it. Exactly.
How it actually is. In reality, it is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the women of today who are in their late 40s and 50s and early 60s, we're not aging the same way as we used to. When I was growing up, you could always tell someone who was in their 50s, they cut, I don't know why, and I still don't know why, they cut their hair short. They had that blue, do you remember the blue rinse and the purple rinse and that like your grandma probably had?
The smell of it. I'm remembering the smell of it.
There was a purple one, a blue one,
Yep.
and a pink. It's all tinted. I don't know why they do it, but we're trying to knock those stereotypes out of the way, and we talk about the way it actually is in 2025.
And as you do that, in the process, you're on your own journey as an on-air talent, because you, as someone who's been behind the camera and who's been assisting someone and producing people who are holding the microphone, you are now talking into the microphone on the other side of the
Yes.
camera. This is the first show you have hosted, and you are already how many episodes in now?
I think this week, which we're filming tomorrow,
Yes.
because Super Bowl is on
Yes.
Sunday, we thought about it. We were going to go live on Sunday like we usually do, but I don't know that anybody's going to watch.
And that was going to be my next question.
We're
Yeah.
filming, we're going to pre-record, and we're filming tomorrow, but we will be running it at the same time, which is 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Right.
And 9 o'clock Eastern Time. On all of the social media platforms. You can either go to my platforms, which is Raquel Kearney Ellicus, just about straight across the board, or you can go to any of the Go Live Vegas platforms and you can find us there. We do have our own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Midlife Mischief has its own YouTube channel, so if you want to like and subscribe to that. We also have a website that's coming up that I will be doing some writing on, and as a producer, I did a lot of writing. I still do some writing, so it's very interesting what we're going to be putting up there. We're putting it together slowly, but it'll hopefully, cross your fingers, be up maybe the end of March.
And that's what building the team is all about. We're fleshing out our on-air roster. We're fleshing out our behind-the-scenes crew. You're going to have more written content online. You'll have short little video clips and reels that you'll see online a lot more. We'll have full audio access with live radio and podcasts. And, of course, our remotes like you see here. Hopefully, Tink will be back in the mix as well.
I hope so.
Yep.
But if you go to our website, Go Live Vegas, you will actually find a bio of everybody who is now part of our team.
Yes.
There's a little write-up on everybody, so you can go over there and you can find out what we've done in the past, how we got to where we are, and what we're doing now.
And that way, when you jump in the comments on my show to call me an idiot, you'll have a little bit more of a background premise. You'll have more
People do that?
information.
Aw.
They don't do that, but I want them to do that because engagement is everything. I don't care.
So
You
go to Brett's page and call him an idiot.
call me an idiot. Say my sports
Come
takes suck.
on.
Tell me I don't know anything about football or fighting or basketball or golf or baseball or anything else in the
Or
sun.
which sports are originally Canadian?
Well, that apparently is,
Which
a
are not.
victory lap for you. Apparently, I took a full-blown baseball in America, the history of baseball in America class in college. I guess they were lying to me because apparently baseball's Canada's favorite pastime now.
No, that's not what I said.
That is
Still
that.
hockey.
It is true.
It
Now,
is still
no, you're
hockey.
right. You guys
We gave
own.
it to you.
You guys own hockey as your own. You don't claim baseball, but you
No,
do
we
claim
don't.
the innovation behind baseball. But you
There's
know
a
what?
difference.
Hey, you got to pat yourself on the back somehow, and you should. But
It's like bowling.
exactly.
I don't know who invented bowling.
But the
God
biggest
bless
thing
them.
is, rest assured on our show, now that we are kind of turning the page, getting more into the basketball side of things and the hockey side of things on the Game Day Huddle, on Student of the Game. We'll be touching on that a lot more. But, of course, until then, we got to be football heavy. Lot to unpack and digest for the Super Bowl, both before and after. So, of course, that'll be a heavy focus of the conversation. And I think it'll be a heavy focus of the conversation even tomorrow when you and Lynn record your show, because even if you don't like football, even if the game does nothing for you, if the halftime show does nothing for you, whether it be the food, the commercials, the community, just the fun get-together aspect of it all, there's an appeal for everyone in the Super Bowl, and even you guys are going to be locked in on Sunday somehow.
I have watched the Super Bowl since I was very small.
So you tune in every year.
I do.
Love it.
Every year.
Love it.
Aaron doesn't always. I'm actually the one who watches the Super Bowl.
Sports fan.
Not necessarily, but I do
In the
like,
making.
I do like watching football.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all. I prefer hockey live.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer sports live. I think that's what it is.
Always.
If I could go to Super Bowl, I would love that.
And last year with them hosting, I knew a few people who were lucky enough to go. But what's so interesting about Las Vegas, and last year was monumental for us to finally host it. I'd been advocating for years, as so many have, and we hit it out of the park. Now they're in New Orleans a year later, who probably, other than Vegas, is the best. I've always said the big three: Miami, New Orleans, and Vegas. You just cannot go wrong there. A lot of it is
not LA. I'm just wondering.
LA, a lot of it is the proximity and the logistics of it all. Okay. It's much like the Bay Area, and even New York is actually very good as far as the logistics, but the weather doesn't work. LA, the weather works, but you don't have the logistics since everything is so sprawled out. Phoenix, very much urban sprawl. New Orleans, Miami, Vegas, you have a concise, it's more logistically appealing for the people traveling, for the people who are showing up for media festivities, different celebrities who are coming to town, athletes coming into town to enjoy the game. It's just a little bit easier to manage and navigate through the traffic, and it also has that warm weather because, again, you're in the South, you're in the West Coast for Vegas, and you're in the South for those other two. So it's just kind of all collectively works. At the end of the day, any city that hosts the Super Bowl is going to make a lot of money, and you're going to see a lot of return on investment, if you will. But some places just do it better. But while it was so great for us to host it last year, Raquel, we're also, and you know this,
it was warmer this time last year.
It was definitely. And
no wind.
And also, yeah, we get some gusts here tonight. And February's been weird. It's warming up so far this week. Now it's getting cold again. It's just how February is. We don't know. The groundhog apparently did see a shadow, but it sure doesn't seem like he saw a shadow.
6 more weeks of winter.
Punxsutawney Phil, I guess, is lying to us. But Vegas had its moment in the sun last year. But what's so interesting about us as a city, even though we were hosting it for the first time last year, it kind of feels like every year we host the Super Bowl. Because other than the host city, a lot of people don't travel during that weekend. People here travel nonstop, whether it be for the parties, the betting, the fact that you could do so much here to enjoy the game and get involved in the action of the game that you can't do anywhere else. And even you and Aaron and your family at home who may not have a bet, who may not really care who wins.
Yeah, I don't bet on the Super Bowl.
Fair enough, but it's still a big enough event for you to somehow invest yourself in.
I do pick a team. This year,
okay.
I'm not sure because it's a little too East Coast. I'm more West Coast.
Right.
So I tend to lean towards the West Coast team.
I get you.
But I mean, I guess if we're going to go with anything, it would be Kansas City.
And Kansas City, we'll talk about it later.
Don't be mad, people from everywhere else. Don't be mad.
And what you said essentially is...
Ooh, somebody's mad.
Don't be mad. Only at the Arts District, right? But what's so interesting about this game is that it has kind of lost some of the steam, some of the luster that past Super Bowls, recent Super Bowls have had because of the fatigue related to the Chiefs, the fact that the Eagles outside of the Northeast, outside of the Philadelphia market, aren't particularly popular. It's just kind of the stars aren't necessarily aligning for like a universally beloved type of matchup. Okay. But at the same time, if the game delivers, I truly believe all those complaints will be silenced. I'm picking Kansas City at this point. Okay. It's so hard for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the whole regime that they have going there. Although I do think Philadelphia is the better team. These two teams also played 2 years ago, Raquel, which doesn't help matters either. Just 2 years ago when I was hosting another show for Go Live Vegas, it was the start of Student of the Game. We started Student of the Game the week leading up just 2 years ago when the Chiefs and the Eagles were playing in Phoenix last time. So here we are, we turn the page, and it's almost like we're right back at square one. But because right now in the league, Philadelphia is the best roster on paper, Kansas City has the best coach, the best quarterback, they found their formula. They're different formulas respectively, but each team knows how to win. So even though it's not preferable maybe for the general fan, the casual fan that they've wound up here, it is fitting because they are that good. But even if you don't have a dog in the fight, even if you don't care about anything else,
the food is good.
Bingo. And that's what I want to get into now because apparently Raquel,
let's talk about the food and the snacks.
Raquel always has a nice slate lined up from what she tells me, but apparently the staple is chili. Elaborate.
I know a lot. That's not normal?
No, it's plenty normal. Just elaborate why it's chili.
Well, we just spent years and years and years in Texas, and I did make chili when I was at home, but once we moved to Texas, I learned a few secrets, and now my chili is internationally famous.
Love it.
Or infamous, maybe.
And what was the process like? Because one thing I've learned, and I necessarily haven't learned this firsthand being in Texas, but I've learned it from people who come back from Texas and say the same thing. Even if they're just visiting, they take their chili seriously.
I do. Now, anyone from Texas, don't get mad, but I do put I do put meat and beans in my chili, and I know that
The
some
beans are
people-
taboo, right?
The beans are, yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, if you don't put the beans, it's spaghetti sauce.
It's like the Cincinnati chili.
It's a spaghetti sauce.
What's your opinion on Cincinnati chili anyway? That's as polarizing as it gets.
I don't have an opinion. I don't know.
It's a meat sauce more than anything else.
It's a spaghetti.
Yeah, I get you. Apparently
A spicy spaghetti.
and apparently the people there
Spicy
absolutely
spaghetti.
the people there absolutely love it. The same way you guys would love your poutine. It's a cultural establishment, right? And if someone may see it and they think it's gross, but then they try it and they're all like, okay, I get it now. It's just it's local food and it's regional eats, and that's how it always works. But that's also what makes the Super Bowl so fun, because you could take someone who doesn't give a damn about football, who doesn't give a damn about sports, period, and now it's a way for them to get involved. They could watch the halftime show, they could watch the commercials, and that's because it is an entertainment.
I love the commercials.
It's an entertainment event.
I love them.
It's a television phenomenon that happens to be a football game.
And
that's what it is.
Who did you say was in the halftime show?
Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
And of course, I get it. That may be polarizing because not everyone necessarily likes modern day hip hop. Some people like modern day hip hop, but they don't think it necessarily translates as well to the big stage as far as a live performance, especially a live performance that's going to be on the biggest telecast all year long. But at the same time, given the year he has had, the beef with Drake, what he just did at the Grammys a week ago, the success and the traction that Not Like Us has had, I truly understand why they selected him. And there's a lot of rumblings that there's going to be a cameo of some type. People are wondering who is he going to bring on stage with him. Last year we saw in Vegas, we saw Usher with Alicia Keys. Every now and then we'll see that crazy cameo that wasn't expected by anybody, even though now it seems like everyone's expecting it to the point where you could probably make a bet on who the hell the cameo is going to be.
I have no idea.
You know what the crazy thing is? Given the fact that Taylor Swift is going to be at the game and they actually have a song together, I don't think so, because I think people would riot if Taylor just showed up for one song, especially since Taylor's likely
But she's going to be there anyway.
and especially since Taylor's likely going to be up in the booth rooting on her man, having a few cocktails, as she should. So I don't think it will happen. But if there were one event for it to make sense, it kind of would be
Maybe
this.
she's just going to run on down and do a song and then run back up again.
That would be actually, honestly, if she did that, the whole internet,
amazing.
the internet would break. No one would care about the second half at all.
No, I don't think so.
And even last year or 2 years ago when these two teams were playing in Phoenix and Rihanna did the halftime show, it wasn't until about halfway through the third quarter, if you go on Twitter, where people were finally starting to talk about the football game again. So rest assured that will be the case. But that's
Something always happens.
Absolutely. And that's what's so fun about Super Bowl Sunday. And that's what's so fun about Go Live Vegas, because not only does it give me a chance to get up here and run my yap about it with Steve, Jimmy, Kel Dansby, anyone else who's a friend of the show or friend of the network, but we could also talk about it with people who aren't as big of fans. And like, that's cool that you get to share your story or like your insights of how the game affects you and your family, because if there was one day that really everyone is somewhat involved in a football game, this is the day. And of course, this will be no exception. I get people aren't thrilled about it, but look, once that ball's kicked off the tee, it's not like everyone says they're not going to watch. They're going to be watching. Even if they don't want to admit it, and even if they sit there with a sour frown on their face, they are going to be tuning into Fox around 3, 4 p.m. Pacific time, and they will be invested. And that's just how it is. But interestingly enough, we have so much, at least me in the sports world, I have so much to focus on this past week with everything happening in the NBA. This weekend with the Super Bowl. You also have a big UFC fight card. It's a heavy, heavy sports slate, as I mentioned at the top of the show, and we'll be breaking it all down on the Game Day Huddle and Student of the Game. But we also have an event to preview that is about, what, exactly a week away, I believe, and it will be taking place right here at the Arts District. Well, I think you could
just down the street.
I think you could give a much better insight than I can. So Raquel, by all means.
Midlife Mischief and Go Live Vegas, and also One of Us Comics, Voodoo Brewing Company as well. We are all going to be hosting live speed dating.
We're doing it.
I'm not doing it because I'm already married and quite happy. I don't want to do that.
But you will be.
But I will be there. I will be watching and providing commentary.
Yes.
Depending on what I see, I will make my own opinion known and what's going on.
And essentially, it's going to be an edition of Midlife Mischief, hosted by Raquel and our Mary Murphy. She'll be filling in for Lynn, since both Mary and Raquel will be on the ground. But you will be leading the way through the activities, through all the events and the happenings of the evening. Not only will you have the live coverage of the speed dating itself, you guys will have the full the full on-air package. We'll have the funny insights, the commentary, the full play-by-play, the breakdown between you and Mary, who we're going to find out if you guys are experts of this craft, because not only, again, are they going to be seeing what everyone in the speed dating process is doing, they're going to be learning, and if anything, find themselves entertained by what you guys have to say, I'm sure.
And there might be somebody else that you know that might be doing the speed dating.
Maybe, oh maybe.
I don't know. We're trying to talk them into it, so I guess we'll see what happens.
And I'm more excited because me, as the sportscaster, even though it's not a sporting event, you and Mary are going to be dabbling in my lane. I love it. You guys,
Yep.
I've had them studying Al Michaels and Howard Cosell and John Madden and all the greats for the past, who's the one that you like? Don Cherry. All the greats. You see, I'm giving Canadian
Howard
sports
Cosell.
some love.
Howard
Well,
Cosell,
I remember when talking to you one time over coffee, he was the one you mentioned.
Yep.
And that's because, again, it's some figures in sports are so transcendent, you don't have to be a fan or actually have a recollection of what happened in their career to know that. And that's the case even for the broadcasters, not just the athletes directly involved. And, of course, a big media week like this week, you have so many media outlets out in New Orleans, just like there were so many out here last year in Vegas for the event. The Super Bowl always draws media from all types, all genres, all walks of life. But what I love is that Go Live Vegas, interestingly enough, is doing the same thing. Because, again, we have the sports shows. We have Midlife Mischief. We have new shows in the works, in the making. And we have these live remotes as well.
Yep.
Everything is interactive. Everything is community-based. And we want to hear from you guys as much as we want to hear from each other on this side of the camera. So that's what's just so fun. We're at a time where not only is everything with the network and the logistics behind that network taking off, but we're starting to get people who are truly interested in what we have to offer. And that's why we cannot do this without mentioning what's at stake, what's going down next Friday, right here at the Arts District at the Voodoo Brewing Company. Well, we should have Allison on, who's the head honcho over there, a little bit later than night.
We're going to have her a little bit later on.
Right.
But one of the I don't know if you want to say the best parts of the speed dating is that if you can't make it, or you're married and you just don't want to do speed dating, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch.
Yeah.
And it's live, so it will be something that you can watch and comment. Give us your opinion. Let us know who you like, who you don't like, whether you think it's fun or whether you don't think it's any fun. But you need to get your tickets if you want to participate. Tickets are $25 in advance, and you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, and I believe it's listed under... Pardon?
Playing the odds.
Playing the
which
odds.
Is what.
I didn't come up with the name,
and
so I can't remember it. Sorry, this is why I do Midlife Mischief, because I'm midlife.
Playing the odds, and playing the odds will be what's actually the speed dating event itself, going down to the Voodoo Brewing Company, and it will be hosted by Go Live Vegas through Midlife Mischief. So the full broadcast coverage, if you're there live in the flesh, you get your ticket, great, you'll be in the swing of things.
$30 at the door,
yes.
$25 in advance, and that includes a drink, speed dating, and a show.
Yeah, and a lot of entertainment on the side.
A show.
A lot of complimentary
comedy
aspects.
It will be comedy. So there's Kay Banks is coming down. I believe Seth Robichaud.
Mm-hmm.
Robichaud? Yes.
Yep.
Will be there, and I've seen his show. He is hilarious. I haven't seen Kay Banks, but I do know her.
We're hearing good things.
I do know her,
yep.
and she is very funny in person, so I'm guessing that she's also funny on stage. I'm assuming.
Natural assumption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to be providing the entertainment, so if you want to come down and just hang out, speed dating is going to be over by what time?
I believe 9.
9,
yeah.
I think it is, and that's when the show is going to start. So then you can come down and you can maybe meet some of the people that you've seen through the broadcast, and you can talk to people there. You can enjoy a show. And the weather should be not bad.
Yeah, and if you can't make it, again, we will have full coverage right here on the airwaves of Go Live Vegas.
So tune in and watch if you can't make it.
And much like our studio shows, our podcasts where we are interactive, like you and Lynn are every Sunday night on Midlife Mischief with the comment thread, that will be available once again, and it will play a factor. Your thoughts, your opinions, maybe even say your concerns will be aired on air because, again, all of the full-blown coverage, the hosting, the commentary will be provided from Raquel and Mary through the lens of Midlife Mischief. So not only are you going to get the full access of what's going on at Voodoo, you're going to get that Midlife Mischief charm and the commentary that only Raquel and Mary can provide. And I'm excited because, again, you guys shot a promo a couple of weeks ago. You guys were excited. The shot looked great.
It was fun.
It's a great place with great ambiance. It's becoming a staple of the Arts District. So head on down there, get your tickets, and be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our digital platforms to be sure that you could be in the mix there if you can't get down here. And again, watch our full coverage. Speaking of coverage, we still have plenty more to come here at the Arts District. It's going to be a fun night. And a quick reminder for all our friends out at the Arts District, we have what the hell was it? It was thin and